Edge? You good with it?
Yes, ready for your approval, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Right into debate.
I'm good. How are you? First item we have for your consideration this morning is we're requesting a phone allowance transfer. We've had a retirement of an employee. We're promoting someone from within. The retired employee had a county phone. An employee that we're promoting, he currently in his position has he gets a cell allowance, and we're just wanting to transfer the cell allowance to the new position to follow him.
We don't do county phones anymore, right? Or do we?
We have a few. We have a few. We have a few
We're
for
moving away
on-call
from it?
people. We
On-call,
don't have
I
many,
gotcha.
but we have some on-call people that we share. We have some common numbers, whatever. So, but we've moved away from that pretty much. We don't have very many at all.
Move to consent.
Move.
Next item is an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Grovetown. As you know, Grovetown is, they were transferring all their sewer to us and paying us a wholesale rate for treating of the sewer. Well, they have since built their own wastewater treatment facility, and that sewer is being transferred back to it. But in order to facilitate that, they're going to use some of the lines that we had installed, and we've had an engineer go out and look at those lines and look at the lines that'll get transferred to us. We're going to take one of the lines that Grovetown had installed, and the engineering company has evaluated the cost of those lines, and Grovetown for this intergovernmental agreement will be paying us $59,506.44 to facilitate this sewer swap. And also we do have one subdivision that'll go to Grovetown's plant, and we'll be paying them a wholesale rate just to treat that sewer. Staff recommends approval of this intergovernmental agreement.
There's a meter.
We did meter it before. What the agreement says is based on the water sales, we do the average winterized billing, and so we're going to base our sewer to Grovetown off of our levelized winter billing rates.
Move to consent.
Titus,
Good morning.
smiling from the weekend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All it needed to use, all your points in one game.
Just for a minute, though.
Oh, yeah, you did. That was.
Y'all might have should have saved a few.
Yeah, we got a lot of work left to do, so. we'll see. The first item we have is a lighting services agreement with Georgia Power for the BMX track lighting upgrades at Blanchard Woods Park. Georgia Power conducted a routine inspection and identified 12 high mast arm mast light poles with 12 poles with 4 fixtures each. The current fixtures are metal halide fixtures, and Georgia Power recommends we replace those fixtures with LED fixtures. This would be a generous savings in power, as well as the county would receive $102 a month savings for those mast arms. The fixtures would be swapped within 90 days from receiving a signed agreement. Staff recommends approval. I've reached out to Robbie Sapp with Georgia Power, and we're able to connect. I'm going to ask him to ask what the status is, how they go about evaluating our different service areas, and see if we can start getting these done, specifically the skate park, so that those lights are uniform. It is, but they have a high capital cost to replace all those fixtures. We're not getting charged upfront costs to replace those fixtures.
Move to consent.
The next item we have is Resolution 22-32 to amend Cumberland Phase 4 Streetlight District. Staff received a request from a resident to install additional lighting on Whitney's Pass. Due to lack of lighting, Georgia Power evaluated and recommends adding one additional light. On one new pole, the upfront pole cost would be $481.75. Annual recurring cost would be $214.30. Staff will notify Georgia Power upon approval of resolution by the board. Staff recommends approval.
Move to consent.
Project, I know we're working with a consultant,
Yes, sir.
close to having
We still are working with Tanko Lighting. We're getting closer. The difficult thing with this is each time we change one thing, it changes 10 other things. So we have to kind of make these modifications very methodically, working heavily with county management, and we have a street lighting policy committee, internal ad hoc committee. Again, we're getting closer. We're not there yet. But I'm not sure if you want to add to this, but I would imagine a few more months before we're able to actually bring something to you.
As you said, it's a difficult process to rewrite a policy because it does touch so many codes. We've got planning involved in it. How do we adjust the code zoning to affect streetlights as well? I will report that we did add to our fund balance for streetlights last year. We are in the black on the street fund policy, street light fund. So we are not losing money at this point. Lately, you have been seeing those districts that show that we're going to pay out more than we collect. What we're trying to address now, but we are still overall collecting more than we're spending.
the process and request, just like we have
Correct.
hold or anything.
Correct.
All right?
Okay, the next item is Resolution 22-33, and a project delivery agreement with Georgia Department of Transportation for resurfacing of White Oak Road, County Line Road, and Sawdust Road. First project of year 2. The project delivery agreement with GDOT allows Columbia County to administer the project. The resolution is to identify who with the county is able to execute documents on behalf of the county for these projects. That would be the chairman of the board, along with the county clerk. Projects, if agreement's executed, staff's goal is to advertise these projects in spring. Staff recommends approval of adopting the resolution and approving the agreement with GDOT.
All right. Quick question. So is it, as it relates to projects within TIA 2, and this will be the first ones we do, how are we stacking those up and in what order?
This will be the first batch. Sorry?
William Few was our first one.
That's correct. So we were authorized advanced funding on William Few. That's right. Thank you, Mr. Slaughter. This will be the second project of TIA 2. Mr. Eubank has already sent a preliminary list of project batches to GDOT to let them know this is how much we will be seeking to advertise to make sure that we're not getting the funding, getting ahead of the funding. Be happy to provide that, but we're going to try to do 2 batches a year.
Email it to the commissioners, that'd be great.
Sure.
I think to further answer your question, Mr. Chairman, this is really in relation to traffic count and need. I mean, White Oak Road is in really bad shape. That road really needs to be done. County Line, Sawdust, same situation. There are some significant issues with those roads. So those have been pushed up just because of the amount of traffic that's on them and how bad shape they are. The rest of them will go as we come up with different projects. We'll communicate with the commission and let y'all, if there's something you want pushed up, you can let us know. William Few was another one that was a big need, but these 3 are definitely in need.
Yeah, and I don't recall the roads that were on the list. It's been so long, so.
Long,
Yes.
list.
Yeah, it's a long list. Some of them are subdivision roads that need to be done, but they could be pushed down a little bit further. These are certainly in desperate need.
Staff and what got out there and got it. My mind, that's the rest of it. Very little interruption. 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Most part, they're cleared out in the morning and traffic's flowing. Thank y'all for getting.
I agree with you, and I commended staff last week. Big effort was leading this, William Eubank, who's here today. But this was a project that stretched division-wide with traffic, the mast arm upgrades, the streetlights, roads and bridges, doing the widening ahead of the paving. Stormwater operations helped install some of the storm drain, road construction oversaw the construction. So it was a big joint effort, and I appreciate
Everybody worked really. Thank everybody that was involved.
Move to consent, if I haven't already.
The next item we have is a construction contract with Quality Plus Services for the Autumn Trail Culvert Replacement Project. So there's currently 3 48-inch corrugated metal pipes beneath Autumn Trail that convey stormwater from one side of the road to the other. They are dilapidated, corroded, separated joints. So this is a project that needs to be done. Staff had a design assembled by Benish Engineering. Design was recently completed. We advertised, received bids. Quality Plus Services was the lowest qualified respondent. They proposed $248,445 funded out of stormwater splost, and the schedule would be 90 calendar days from receiving notice to proceed to replace these lines. Staff recommends approval.
Move to consent.
And the final item we have for you today is an acquisition services agreement with Colliers Engineering and Design for the Hereford Farm Road Widening Project. This is to approve a contract for acquisition services with Colliers Engineering for specifically relocation and appeal services. They may offer some additional supplemental services to support staff, but staff's going to be taking the lion's share of this work and using Colliers Engineering as needed for the relocation appeal services, which we are not able to do internally. Funded by HB 170, and the professional services are estimated to be completed by December 31st, 2026. So this will be an ongoing contract until that time. Staff recommends approval. That's correct. That's correct, and staff will work closely with them to ensure that what work is sent out to them is, one, they're getting paid lump sum, not percentage, so they get one fee per delivery. And they will work closely with them to ensure that what we are requesting is, one, needed, and two, delivered on time and in budget.
Acquisition services.
So
We've
this is
been
the
down this
property-
path before.
Yeah, this is the property acquisition that, as we're widening the road, we have to go knock on every door and negotiate with every person. I've made it clear that I want to try to do as much of this as we can in-house, but not at the risk of holding up the project. So I think that our team does an outstanding job. William has gotten property acquisition really on a good path, but they've got a lot of things going on. This just gives us a backup. If we have some additional ones where we're getting tight on a timeline, we can farm out a few here and there. But the idea is we're going to do most of it in-house.
But we're going to approve their offers before they make them.
Yes, yeah, we do. We do. That was part of this too. That was another thing. We've had issues in the past with consultants that do acquisition, and we've tightened that up a little bit. Kyle and his team done a real good job of tightening that up so we stay in the driver's seat.
Move to consent.
So moved.
Staff reports?
Staff report.
We've included the year-to-date budget report and the water and sewer construction projects report for your review. I can answer any questions you may have.
Where do we stand with the consulting project on expanding sewer and water into the county?
Master plan?
Yeah.
Master plan is scheduled to be completed in December, but I do think they're a little bit behind. They've completed the first 3 sections of the master plan. They're working on section 4, and the last section will be, basically that's to do all the projects that we need to do. The last section 5 will put cost on those projects. So we reached out to them last week and asked for an updated schedule, and we don't have that yet, so I should have that pretty soon.
Project, it's
Bloom?
showing season.
Clark's Hill should be ready for the next algae season. Not sure if Blanchard will or not. Some of the tie-ins they have to do may be difficult to do during our, once master starts, our water usage really ramps up, and I don't know if we can shut the plant down to make those tie-ins, so we may have to wait till the fall to do those. We'll kind of see where they are, but they're a little behind on Blanchard because they missed some windows. But Clark's Hill seems to be, they're on schedule for it, and I think March or so they should be turning that system on.
Just keep us in the loop. As opposed to just putting it on the list, just tell us.
Okay.
Public comment?
Motion, we move it to the full board.
Turned it.
Hey, what